Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can find the Full Court Press and our subsidiaries on Facebook and Instagram. That is the Full Court Press, football, basketball, and MMA. And of course, you can always find yours truly on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. And when you share this post, don't forget to use the hashtag, don't you dare touch that dial. The AAF is reportedly closing their doors and not closing their doors, ceased all operations. This has all the feel of a potential publicity stunt. I don't know. I mean, the ratings definitely not there. The attendance, 50-50. I said from the outset that one of the things that I saw was probably going to have to happen was an XFL and AAF merger, because the Alliance of American Football promised us a lot of things, but they made one crucial mistake, and that is they did not make this for a mass audience. And when I say they didn't make it for a mass audience, what I mean is their games were on CBS Sports Network, gotta have cable, pay extra. Bleacher Report app, pay extra. They were broadcast on their website. It didn't give us all the things that we were promised. There was no commentary. You didn't see any instant replays. You just heard basically all the guys calling signals, and it was kind of cool in a way. It kind of felt like you were there. But all the things that we saw in the very first week, the tease that they threw out in front of us, they completely basically threw all that away. And I'm going to tell you something. I've had the exact same complaint about the NFL, about the NCAA. One of the things that I talked about with the NFL and their ratings from years prior, last season, much better on Thursday night games. But one of the things that I discussed was, where can I find a game of football? One week they would have their Thursday night game on the NFL Network. Then it was on CBS the next week. Then it was on Twitter the next week. Then it was on Amazon. Then it was here. Just show me where I can, point me the direction where I can watch a game of football. It's all I want to do, man. I just want to watch a game of football. Last season, much better on Fox television, watching every single game. It's local, it's national. Everybody has an opportunity to watch a game of football if they want to. Pretty simple, pretty cut and dry, right? Their Sunday lineup, you're going to have your NFC games on Fox. You're going to have your AFC games on CBS. Every now and again, you're going to have an AFC versus NFC matchup that looks really good on paper. So they're going to air those games, and you get an opportunity to see 2 for 1, basically. NBC is going to air their Sunday night game. And then, of course, you're going to have Monday Night Football, which airs on ESPN. Again, I don't agree with it, but at least I know where the hell the game is going to be, right? So that's one of the main things that I initially saw with the AAF. Another thing that I saw with the AAF, very simple. Bill Polian, who was a part of this league, and I talked about this before when the AAF first came out back in February, he continuously called it a developmental league. Kurt Warner and all these other former NFL players, all they talked about was, how it could be a great startup for some kid who wants to make it to the NFL. I thought we were watching pro football here. I thought we were watching professional athletes. If I want amateurism, I'll watch college. I've already got that opportunity. If I want basically what is considered to be amateurism, I'll go and I'll figure out a way that I can watch or attend a game of arena football, right? That's what I will do, because arena football is not even full 11-on-11 football, right? So, 50 yards, right? If I remember correctly. So why would I decide that I can trade down when I'm supposed to be getting an equal value, or even potentially eventually a trade up, right? Now, my thing is, when you are paid as a professional, you are a professional athlete. And so to call it a developmental league, it was never going to work out that way. It was never going to give the impression that, I'm watching professional football here. And they were doing things that did not feel like football. One of the things that I talked about was never rushing more than 5 players. Well, you're killing the passing game, which surprisingly was actually pretty good from the highlights and the two games that I was able to watch. But uh, it just, why would you not do that? And look, I understand. You know, you've got to protect players in this day and age. I'm not taking anything away from that. Um, I was 50-50 on the not returning a kick rule, you know, because you're allowing punts, but you're not allowing kickoffs. The thing about a kickoff is, again, I love the idea of player protection, kind of why I'm for it, but why I'm against it. You're down 23 nothing. You're trying to get back into the game. You want to make a play to help spark your offense, get them in good field position, or maybe even score a touchdown, right? You can't do that. Instead, you're just going to get the ball back, and it's, you know, basically losers walk, right, to the other end of the field. That's basically the rules. Anybody remember playing football growing up as a kid? Losers walk. That's what it was, man. So that's just another thing that I saw off the cuff. And finally, the last thing that I saw that I really didn't like was the NFL's involvement in this, right? Games being on NFL Network sometimes. Again, where can I find a game of football? The NFL Network reporting on this, but the NFL was not exactly loosey-goosey with their guys transitioning over to the AAF. So what happens is you've got your competition basically, even though you're saying it's not your competition. Believe me when I tell you, the NFL viewed you that way, and they were just smart, and they said, we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to keep a real close eye on this. And they just watched like this. That's exactly what they were doing the whole time. Whether you think they were or not, believe me when I tell you, they were. You had Tiki Barber, one of their own on television. You had Kurt Warner, one of their own on television. I mean, you had, you know, Mike Singletary, head coach. You had Bill Polian involved. You had, I mean, just Mike Martz, NFL name after NFL name. And you mean to tell me you think that they weren't sitting back and making sure, you know, that this wasn't going to blow up in their own face? Come on. I mean, you couldn't have possibly conceived for one moment that the NFL was not looking out. If you are ceasing operations, then basically you're done. So please don't use this as a publicity stunt, because it's not okay to draw that kind of attention to you, because that's going to look real desperate. I hope that's not what it is. For some reason, my gut tells me that there's going to be a playoff game this weekend. But regardless of that, if you're not successful, those are the reasons right there. You're not making it accessible for an entire audience. You are not viewing yourself as a professional football league, even though you're calling yourself a pro league. You're saying you're developmental. That's not professional football. That downplays the product that you're offering after you promise professional league play. And then, of course, finally, the third thing is you allowed, I think, too much involvement and too much reliance on really the name. Let's say the NFL wasn't really, you know, looking at it like that. Okay, but your heavy reliance on the name NFL instead of cashing in on your own alliance, your own people, your own players, people that are giving their everything for you as professional athletes, and you completely downplay everything that they're doing, and then I can't even find a game of football after the first week. You know, games on TBS and TNT, and it's just everybody should be able, and I've said this about the UFC, right? Everybody in America, when they are kids and they are growing up and they want to be professional athletes, it is because they saw somebody on television first. That is a point blank scenario. I've never met anybody who said, I don't have any influences. I never watched anybody else. It's literally never happened. Everybody has had an influence. You think I became a journalist because I would flip on the radio and listen to so much hard rock? Or because I would listen to other sports journalists talk? It should be that. It should be a radio. I should be able to just flip on the television and watch a sporting event. Pretty simple. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Don't forget to use the hashtag Don't You Dare Touch That Dial when you share this post. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.